There are many field research tasks available this season, but some have much better rewards than others. So in this video, I will be going through the best field research tasks to do to get the best rewards, and which ones are just not worth your time. So just before I get into it, here are some things you need to know about field research. So all of your field research tasks are viewed in the Today tab, which you can get to by tapping the research button in the bottom right of the map screen. And it is best to use this image to illustrate the different types of tasks you can get. So first, let's start with regular and AR mapping tasks that you can get from spinning Pokestops. You can hold 3 regular field research tasks as well as an AR mapping task. However, you can also get bonus research tasks, which you will get automatically each day, that will fill up any empty regular field research slots that you've got. And even if you do have all 3 taken up, then the bonus will fill in a 4th slot like this. These bonus researches are not from Pokestops like regular field research tasks. They do just appear once a day, and they are tasks that can generally be done from anywhere, unlike regular field research tasks from Pokestops that may require less accessible activities. So 5 research slots is the max that you can get at a time, and just above the AR mapping task is the field research stack. So if you do get a Pokemon encounter from field research tasks and you run from it, it will appear here in the research stack to encounter again. And this stack can hold up to 100 encounters, and if you do run from another Pokemon after you've got 100, it will delete the oldest encounter and replace it with the new one. This encounter stacking is good for when you have Stardust boosted Pokemon from tasks that you can run from and keep in your stack until a Stardust boosted event, where you can then go through all of them and catch them all while there are Stardust bonuses active. You can also pre-bury the encounter if you wanted to and run from it, and then it will keep the berry attached to it while it's in the stack. And above the field research stack are the research breakthrough stamps. You get a stamp for completing your first field research task of the day, and if you get 7 of these by completing a research task on 7 different days, you will get a research breakthrough which will reward XP, Stardust, one of these items, and an encounter with Galarian Mr. Mime, Lapras, Snorlax, Honedge, Sinistea, or Dreepy. And these encounters do change seasonally and sometimes monthly. It's always worth doing at least 1 field research task per day to work on this research breakthrough, because it is the only way you can get free remote raid passes in the game. Of the current research breakthrough encounters, the highlights are Honedge with Aegislash being ranked 12 in the Great League, Lapras being ranked 27 in the Great League and ranked 3 in the Ultra League, and Dreepy with Dragapult being the 11th best ghost type with Astonish and Shadow Ball. Do note as well that the Kanto Mr. Mime is normally a regional Pokemon that only spawns in Europe. However, you can get the Galarian form from research breakthroughs no matter where you are in the world, and it will count as the dex entry for the Kanto Mr. Mime. Now moving on to the field research tasks for the season. I do just want to note that the IV floor for Pokemon from research is 10-10-10, making some PvP IV spreads more difficult to get, but you can always mirror trade with low friendship level friends to re-roll the IVs if you want to, but do also note that perfect PvP IVs mostly matter at higher levels of play, and other things like team composition and moveset are more important. So if you don't have the perfect PvP IVs on a Pokemon, it doesn't mean that they're unusable. So starting with the catching tasks, firstly we have the catch 7 Pokemon task, which does reward encounters with Magikarp, Stuffle or Wimpod. These are all 400 candy evolution Pokemon, so they're all going to be worth it if you need their evolutions for the Pokedex. And the task is pretty quick and easy to do. More specifically, Magikarp is a good encounter with Mega Gyarados being the 5th best water type raid attacker with Waterfall and Hydro Pump, and it's the 12th best dark type with Bite and Crunch. And a lot of the higher ranking water types do want legacy moves, and Gyarados doesn't, so it is a bit more budget friendly. And it is also ranked 51 in the Master League, but it does want legacy move Aqua Tail for this. For Wimpod, its evolution Galizapod is a decent budget bug type being the 28th best with Fury Cutter and X-Scissor, and it's a decent budget water type with Waterfall and Razor Shell. But not only that, it is ranked 51 in the Great League, ranked 28 in the Ultra League, and ranked 79 in the Master League. And it does also have a Mega Evolution coming in the future, so that could have some relevance as well. We then have the Catch 10 Pokemon task that offers these rewards, and this is generally another easy one to do, so worth doing, especially as it can reward some decent items like rare candy. The task that requires you to catch a Dragon type Pokemon is a little bit more challenging, but it does offer these items or encounters with Dratini, Bagon, or Axew. Dratini is a good encounter with Dragonite being a decent budget dragon type being the 27th best with Dragontail and Draco Meteor, and it's ranked 57 in the Master League. Dragonite does have a Mega coming in the future, but it won't be one of the best dragon type attackers, it'll only be a little bit better than Dragonite itself. Better for raid attacking though will be Bagon's evolution Salamence, with Mega Salamence being the 6th best dragon type with Dragontail and Draco Meteor. It's also the 3rd best flying type with Dragontail and Fly, but if you do have access to Mega Rayquaza, Mega Salamence is less of a priority to go after. And also Axu does have some relevance, with Haxorus being the 16th best dragon type attacker with Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe. The Catch a Ditto task will reward you with these items, but honestly Ditto is pretty rare, so probably not worth holding on to this one unless you know there's a Ditto event coming up. Other than that, it is probably just going to block your field research slots and prevent you from doing other research tasks. These are the current Ditto disguises though if you are looking for it. The Catch 10 normal type Pokemon task will reward you with these items, and it's only really worth doing this task if you need the Mega Pidgeot energy, if you haven't Mega Evolved a Pidgeot before. It does require 100 energy to Mega Evolve a Pidgeot for the first time, and it is the 9th best flying type attacker with Legacy Move Gust and Charge Attack Brave Bird. Do note though, if you have already Mega Evolved a Pidgeot before, you can just walk any of your Pidgey, Pidgeotto or Pidgeot as your buddy to get more Mega energy. We then have the Catch 10 Fire type Pokemon task, and you will only really want to try and complete this one if it offers Mega Energy for Charizard or Blaziken. Mega Charizard Y and Mega Blaziken are the top 2 Fire type raid attackers in the game, with Fire Spin and Legacy Move Blast Burn. Mega Blaziken has slightly more damage per second, but less TDO, so these two are generally very close and it's worth having at least one of them. Mega Blaziken, however, does have the advantage of also being the 2nd best fighting type attacker in the game with Counter and Aura Sphere. The Catch 10 Water type Pokemon is similar to the Fire version. It offers the same items, but instead you can get Mega Energy for Blastoise or Swampert. Mega Blastoise is the 4th best Water type attacker with Water Gun and Legacy Move Hydro Cannon, and Blastoise itself is ranked 46 in the Great League and ranked 27 in the Ultra League. Mega Swampert is even more relevant as a raid attacker, being the 2nd best water type with Water Gun and Legacy Move Hydro Cannon, and it's the 10th best ground type with Mudshot and Earthquake. And we do also have the Catch 10 Grass type Pokemon version of the task, which offers these rewards, and again it's the Mega Energy for Venusaur or Sceptile that have the most value. Mega Venusaur is the 3rd best Grass type attacker with Vine Whip and Legacy Move Frenzy Plant, but it is Mega Sceptile that is even more relevant, with it being the best Grass type attacker in the game, with Fury Cutter or Bullet Seed and Legacy Move Frenzy Plant. Moving on, we do have the Catch 7 different species of Pokemon task that can get you an encounter with Abra, Hoot Hoot, Shelmet, Carablast, Inkay, Yungoos or Stuffle. Now there are actually some decent encounters here. Firstly, Abra's evolution Alakazam does have a Mega form that is the 2nd best Psychic type attacker in the game with Confusion and Legacy Move Psychic, and it is the best Psychic type Mega until Mega Mewtwo X and Y come to the game. The candy from these Abra catches could also be helpful for powering up any Max Alakazam you may have, because Max Alakazam is the best Psychic type attacker for max battles at the moment. Shelmet and Carablast don't really have much meta relevance, but they can be traded to reduce their candy cost for evolution down to 0. Do note that this does work for Abra and Kadabra as well, and this is helpful for evolutions during a 2x evolution spotlight hour with a Lucky Egg active. Inkay's evolution Malamar is ranked 28 in the Great League and ranked 23 in the Ultra League. It will however not be optimal due to the 10-10-10 IV floor, but still very much usable. Next we have the Catch 5 Pokemon with a Weather Boost task, which will get you these items or an encounter with Vulpix, Poliwag, Wingull, Hippopotas, Snova, Roggenrola or Vanillite. This is a pretty easy task to do in general, so it could be worth doing for that reason anyway. But not only that, there are some relevant Pokemon on offer as well. Vulpix's evolution Ninetales is ranked 69 in the Great League and ranked 86 in the Ultra League. Snova's evolution Abomasnow has a Mega evolution that is the best Ice type Mega, and it's the 9th best Ice type attacker with Powder Snow and Weather Ball. And Roggenrola's evolution Gigalith is a decent budget Rock type attacker with Smackdown and Meteor Beam. And we do also have the debut of Max Roggenrola coming up in January, and Max Gigalith will be the best Rock type attacker for max battles, so definitely worth getting candy ready for that. And the last 2 tasks for this category are catch 10 Pokemon with the Weather Boost and use 5 berries to help catch Pokemon. These offer no encounters and the rewards are nothing special, but the tasks are quick and easy to do, so probably worth doing for the most part anyway. For the throwing tasks, firstly we have make 5 curveball throws in a row, and it can get you these items. Again, this is a quick and easy task to do, so definitely worth doing for that reason. The make 5 nice throws task can get you these rewards, including encounters with Diglett, Alolan Diglett and Sudowoodo. None of these encounters have any meta relevance, but again it is a fairly quick and easy task to do, but it's not really worth going out of your way to do. Make 3 nice throws in a row and make 2 nice curveball throws in a row can get you these items. They aren't really worth doing in particular, but being nice throws, they are pretty quick and easy to do in general. We then have the make 3 great throws task, which can reward either of these items or encounters with Omanyte, Kabuto, Clamperl, Elgyem or Binacle. Omanyte and Kabuto don't really have much meta relevance, but you may need to catch them for the Let's Go Meltan special research, and also Clamperl is a perma boosted shiny with with a 1 in 64 shiny rate, so it could be worth going after that shiny. Binnacle's evolution Barbaracle doesn't really have any meta relevance, but it does have a mega form coming to the game in the future that could potentially have some relevance. Next, we have the make 3 great throws in a row task that offers either of these rewards, and this one is worth doing for a couple of reasons. First, you may need Lileep or Anorith for the Let's Go Meltan special research, and Lileep's evolution Cradily is ranked 4 in the Great League and ranked 50 in the Ultra League. This task, however, could be a little bit more tricky to complete compared to the nice throws. And the tasks that require you to make 3 great curveball throws and make 3 great curveball throws in a row are only really worth doing if they're offering rare candy or stardust. The make 5 great curveball throws in a row task is worth doing because it is the only way you can encounter Spinder in the game, and the Spinder patterns do change each season, and there are currently 9 released into the game. It's also a perma boosted shiny with 1 in 64 shiny rates. The task that requires you to make an excellent throw will offer these possible rewards. None of them are particularly special, but worth doing if you can land an excellent throw quite easily. The make 2 excellent throws task, however, is definitely worth doing because you do get a guaranteed encounter with Jangmo-o, and both of its evolutions do have relevance. Hakama-o is ranked 40 in the Great League, and Como-o is ranked 82 in the Great League and ranked 59 in the Ultra League. But your best bet in terms of the IV floor from field research would be to get a Master League Como-o where it is ranked 87 and it wants 100% IVs. And lastly, for the throwing tasks is make 3 excellent throws in a row, which can get you an encounter with Larvitar, Beldum or Gible. With these possible encounters as rewards, it's definitely worth doing this task, despite it being one of the more difficult ones to do. I would recommend looking for a Pokemon with a large catch circle or using the circle lock technique on a legendary Pokemon from a 5-star raid, for example, because their low catch rate mean that you do get more chance to get excellent throws. But either way, if you can do this one, I would recommend doing it because all 3 Pokemon are meta relevant. Firstly, Larvitar's evolution Tyranitar does have a mega form that is the 3rd best rock type with legacy move Smackdown and charge attack Stone Edge, and it is also the best dark type attacker in the game with Bite and Brutal Swing. For Beldum, its evolution Metagross is the 8th best steel type attacker with Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash, and Mega Metagross is the 4th best with the same moveset. And Mega Metagross is also the 10th best Psychic type with Zen Headbutt and Psychic, and Metagross itself is also one of the best Pokemon in the Master League at rank 3. Do note though that Metagross does pretty much always want legacy move Meteor Mash, except for when it's a Psychic type attacker, and for Go Battle League it wants legacy move Shadow Claw as well, so it's not really a cheap Pokemon to build in terms of Elite TMs, but it is one of the most budget friendly Pokemon for the Master League. Not only that, but Max Metagross is a good tank and a decent steel type attacker for max battles, especially if you don't have access to Crown Zacian and Zamazenta. And Gibble's evolution Garchomp in its mega form is the 3rd best dragon type with Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe, and the 2nd best ground type with Mudshot and legacy move Earth Power. Next up we have the battling tasks. Winning a trainer battle in the Go Battle League will get you an encounter with Paldean Wooper, Duskull or Frillish, and each of these have relevance for Go Battle League. Firstly, Paldean Wooper's evolution Clodsire is ranked 30 in the Great League, then we have Frillish's evolution Jellicent, which is ranked 21 in the Great League, and it's one of the highest ranked Pokemon in the Ultra League at rank 4. And Duskull has 2 evolutions that have relevance. Dusclops is ranked 26 in the Great League, and Dusknoir is ranked 35 in the Great League and 36 in the Ultra League. So overall, a decent task to do if you're looking to get into Go Battle League. We then have the win a raid task that offers Lapras, Timber, Alomomola or Rockruff. Lapras again is a great one for Go Battle League where it's ranked 27 in the Great League and ranked 3 in the Ultra League. And Timber is useful as a fighting type raid attacker because Conkeldurr, its evolution, is the 23rd best with counter and dynamic punch. There is also the win a raid with your buddy task that offers Stardust or an encounter with Phalanx. Do note, to do this one, your buddy doesn't actually have to be fighting in the raid, it just has to be in the party. But overall, this one isn't really worth doing, you could just skip it. Phalanx doesn't have any meta relevance, and despite it having a Mega Evolution coming in the future, currently it doesn't seem like the Mega Evolution will have any impact on the meta either. The win a 3-star raid or higher task will get you an encounter with Archon or Tortuga. Neither have meta relevance, so you could skip them unless you need them for the Pokedex. The win 5 raids task can get you one of these items or encounters with Alolan Exeggutor, Alolan Marowak or Aerodactyl. Firstly, all 3 of these encounters do have perma boosted shiny rates of 1 in 64, but apart from Mega Aerodactyl being the 5th best rock type attacker with Rock Throw and Rock Slide, and the fact that you may need Aerodactyl for the Let's Go Meltan research, these Pokemon don't really have much meta relevance. And as you need to do 5 raids to complete this task, I wouldn't really recommend doing it unless you really need these Pokemon for something specific. And lastly, for the battle tasks is win a max battle, and this one rewards 1000 Stardust and is pretty much worth doing because you can easily solo a 1-star max battle to get this done for free. Moving on, we do have the exploring tasks. The Hatch and Egg task can get you any of these encounters, notably Scyther, Nincada and Phoebus all have perma boosted shiny rates of 1 in 64, so worth doing if you're hunting these shinies. And Scyther's evolution Scizor does have a Mega evolution which is the third best bug type with Fury Cutter and X-Scissor. Electrike's evolution Manectric also has a Mega form that's the best electric type Mega in the game currently, and it's the fourth best electric type attacker overall with Thunderfang and Wild Charge. Do note as well that Trubbish and Combee are Stardust boosted Pokemon that both give 750 Stardust per catch. This task is definitely worth doing because you can just hatch the daily adventure egg to get it done, so it is a lot easier than it used to be. We also have the hatch 2 eggs task, which can get you an encounter with Sneasel, Mawile or Phoebus, and all three of them have perma boosted 1 in 64 shiny rates. And Sneasel's evolution Weavile is a decent budget Ice and Dark type attacker, being the 21st and 23rd best respectively. However, this task isn't really worth doing. Hatching 2 eggs even with the daily adventure egg can be a bit time consuming. For exploring 2 kilometers, you can get an encounter with Pidgeotto, Wingull or Surskit, and the only one amongst them that has some relevance is Pidgeotto, with Mega Pidgeot being the 9th best flying type with Gust and Brave Bird, but generally I would consider skipping this one. Next we have the Spin 3 Pokestop or Gyms task, and it can get you either of these item rewards or an encounter with Doduo, Remoraid, Routes or Aron. Out of these, Aron is a decent encounter with Mega Aggron being the 15th best steel type with Iron Tail and Heavy Slam, but it is Routes here that is the standout encounter, with Mega Gardevoir being the best fairy type attacker in the game with Charm and Dazzling Gleam, and it's the 5th best psychic type attacker with Confusion and Psychic. Do note that female Curlier can only evolve into Gardevoir, whereas the male Curlier can evolve into either Gardevoir or Gallade. And Mega Gallade is the 17th best fighting type with Low Kick and Close Combat, and the 4th best psychic type with Confusion and Psychic. And generally this is a quick and easy task to do, so even if you don't get the Routes encounter, it is still worth doing. We then have the Spin 5 Pokestops or Gyms task, and it can get you either of these item rewards or an encounter with one of either Growlithe, Slowpoke or Meowth. None of these have any meta relevance, but the Kanto Meowth is a Stardust boosted Pokemon that gives 500 Stardust per catch, and the Alolan Meowth gives 750 Stardust per catch. And do note that Hisuian Growlithe, Alolan and Galarian Meowth all have perma boosted 1 in 64 shiny rates. Despite these Pokemon not having much meta relevance, it is a pretty easy task to do if you do play in an area with a good amount of Pokestops or gyms, so it will most likely be worth doing for you unless you're rurally located. And lastly, for the exploring tasks is the Take a Snapshot of Wild Pokemon task, and this can get you any of these items as rewards or encounters with Trapinch, Croagunk or Cottony. None of these Pokemon have any particular meta relevance, apart from maybe Croagunk's evolution Toxicroak being a decent budget poison type attacker, but overall this task is pretty easy to do from wherever you are, so definitely worth doing for that reason. Next we have the training tasks, and firstly the Evolve a Pokemon task can get you an encounter with Eevee, Yamper, Pawmo or Fidough. And not only is this a really easy task to complete, but some of the encounters have meta relevance as well. Out of all the evolutions, Glaceon is a decent budget ice type attacker, being the 19th best with Frost Breath and Avalanche. And if you do happen to have max Glaceon, the Eevee candy will be useful for it because it is the best ice type attacker for max battles currently. Likewise, Sylveon is a decent budget fairy type, being the 23rd best with Charm and Dazzling Gleam. And it's also a good budget option for the Master League as well, being ranked 94. The Mega Evolve a Pokemon task will get you a guaranteed rare candy, and generally this one is worth doing. The Power Up Pokemon 3 times task can get you any of these items or encounters with Bulbasaur, Charmander or Squirtle. Each of these encounters do have relevance. For Bulbasaur, Mega Venusaur is the 3rd best grass type with Vine Whip and Frenzy Plant. For Squirtle, Mega Blastoise is the 4th best water type with Water Gun and Hydro Cannon, and Blastoise is also ranked 46 in the Great League and ranked 27 in the Ultra League. And the candy could be useful for Max or G-Max Blastoise, which are decent tanks for max battles. And for Charmander, Mega Charizard Y is one of the 2 best fire type attackers in the game, and this candy can also be useful for G-Max Charizard, which is the 2nd best fire type attacker for max battles. Do note that for this task and all of the power up tasks that I will be talking about, it does require a lot less Stardust if you power up multiple low level Pokemon instead of one higher level Pokemon, because at high levels the Stardust cost becomes quite steep. For the power up Pokemon 5 times task, you can get an encounter with Snivy, Tepig or Oshawott, or you can get Mega Energy for Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, Beedrill, Pidgeot, Manectric or Aggron. This task is pretty much always worth doing because most of the rewards are useful in some way. Tepig's evolution Emboar doesn't really have any meta relevance currently, apart from occasionally it's used as a budget fire type attacker, but do note that it does have a mega evolution coming in the future that will make Emboar better as a fire type. It won't be able to compete with Mega Blaziken, Charizard and Delphox, but it definitely won't be bad. For Oshawott, Samurott is a decent budget water type, being the 19th best with Fury Cutter and Hydro Cannon. Samurott is also ranked 66 in the Great League and ranked 43 in the Ultra League. The Mega Energy for Venusaur, Blastoise, Charizard, Pidgeot, Aggron and Manectric is worth getting, as I mentioned before, especially if you haven't Mega Evolved one of them before. The Beedrill Mega Energy will also be worth it, with Mega Beedrill being the 5th best bug type with Legacy move Bug Bite and Charged Attack X Scissor, and it's the 3rd best poison type with Poison Jab and Sludge Bomb. We then have the Power Up Pokemon 7 times task, which will get you an encounter with Rowlet, Litten or Poplio. For Rowlet, Decidueye is a decent budget grass type, being the 20th best with Magical Leaf and Frenzy Plant, and likewise Litten's evolution Incineroar is the 19th best dark type with Snarl and Darkest Lariat, and Poplio's evolution Primarina is also a decent budget fairy type attacker, being the 24th best with Charm and Moonblast, and it's the 15th best water type with Waterfall and Hydro Cannon. It's also ranked 38 in the Master League. So if you don't have Pokemon of these types that are any better, this task is definitely worth doing. For the Power Up Pokemon 15 times, you will get guaranteed 3 rare candy, which could definitely be worth doing if you need rare candy and you've got some Stardust to spare on low level Pokemon. The earn 10k XP and 10k Stardust tasks are worth doing despite the rewards not being that good, because the tasks are basically free, with them being really easy to get through normal gameplay. Moving on to the Buddy and Friendship tasks. First we have the earn 2 candies walking with your buddy task, and that offers these rewards and possible encounters with Jigglypuff, Baneri, Glameow, Bunnelby, Litleo or Dedenne. And it's only really worth doing this one for Jigglypuff because Wigglytuff is ranked 20 in the Great League. But if you are going to do this task, I would recommend walking a Pokemon that only requires 1 kilometer to get a candy, and do note that if the Pokemon is excited, the distance to get a candy is halved. The earn 3 candies while walking with your buddy task will get you an encounter with either of the Stunfisk, and this task could be worth doing if you want these Pokemon for Go Battle League, and the Unova Stunfisk in particular is ranked 10 in the Great League and ranked 88 in the Ultra League. There is also a task to give your buddy 3 treats, and it offers encounters with Execute, Chansey or Dedenne, and this one is well worth doing because it is really easy to do from wherever you are, and Chansey in particular is a great one to get candy for because Max Blissey is the best general tank and healer for max battles. You might also need Execute for the Let's Go Meltan research. We then have the earn 7 hearts with your buddy task, which will reward you with Galarian Zigzagoon, Skitty or Swablu. Again, this is a pretty easy task to do, so definitely worth doing, and Swablu's evolution Altaria is ranked 33 in the Great League. Do note as well that Galarian Zigzagoon does have a 1 in 64 shiny rate. The task that requires you to take a snapshot of your buddy offers encounters with Trapinch, Axew or Noibat. This one is generally worth doing because it doesn't take too much effort, and the best encounter here would be Axew, with Haxorus being the 16th best dragon type with Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe. And also Noibat is a 400 candy evolution Pokemon that you may need to get candy for. The send 3 gifts and add a sticker to each task can get you an encounter with Wobbuffet, Mawile or Absol. Out of these, Absol is the standout encounter, with Mega Absol being the 5th best dark type with Snarl and Brutal Swing. And do note that Absol does also have a Z Mega coming in the future, which may also have relevance. And lastly, for the buddy and friendship tasks, we have trade a Pokemon that will reward you with an encounter with Delibird, Cherubi or Skiddo. None of these have any particular relevance, but Delibird is a Stardust boosted Pokemon that gives 500 Stardust per catch. But it's not really worth doing this task unless you have somebody you can easily trade with. For the defeat 3 Team Go Rocket Grunts task, you can get an encounter with Arbok, Lotad or Glameow. None of these have any meta relevance, so you can skip this unless you need any of them for the Pokedex. We also have a couple of sponsored tasks: send 3 gifts to friends and catch 8 Pokemon, and they can get you either 1 rare candy or 1000 Stardust, and generally they are quick and easy to do from wherever you are, so worth doing. And there is also the AR scanning task, which requires you to scan a Pokestop, and it will get you either of these rewards. It is only really worth doing for the Poffin though, because otherwise you would have to get it from the in-game shop. And it is a useful item that can instantly excite your buddy Pokemon to allow it to gain more buddy hearts and halve its candy distance requirement. And if you do want to know what are the best Pokemon to power up in 2026 in Pokemon Go, then I recommend checking out this video on the screen next.